right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me for this foam rolling workshop. So foam rolling is so beneficial for everyone that works out. If you're a runner, weightlifter, whatever it may be, it is great as a recovery tool. So let's first break down what exactly is foam rolling. Foam rolling is a therapy used to eliminate general fascia restrictions. So when you hear that, you're probably like, what does that mean? So let's first break down exactly how our muscles are made up. Our muscles have multiple different fibers. So I want you to think of a fiber like a straw. So take a single straw. That would be a single muscle fiber. Now, in order to make a muscle, we need multiple muscle fibers, so multiple straws. So if we take a bundle of straws, that will make up like our bicep, our tricep, our quadricep, a group of muscles. Okay, so just to recap, we have a bunch of muscle fibers that make up our muscle body. Now, there's also a tissue that surrounds the muscle fibers, and that tissue is the fascia. So when we foam roll, we are targeting the fascia, what surrounds the muscle fiber, that soft, thin tissue. It's really tough though. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So when we foam roll and we're working that myofascia tissue, once again, that's the wrapping area holding all the muscle fibers, we use our body weight to warm up the area and loosen it up. So this is very different than stretching. Stretching, right, we're pulling the muscle fibers, we're lengthening them, but foam rolling is breaking up the fascia, the wrapping around the muscle fibers. It's warming it up. So even though it's not stretching, it can just as much improve your mobility and how far you can stretch, your flexibility. Okay, so I hope that short little breakdown gives you a clear picture of really what we're doing when we're foam rolling. So what exactly are the benefits when we use foam rolling to break down and to warm up that myofascia? The main thing is going to increase blood flow. It's also going to give you a better range of motion. So that's how far you can move, how well you can move. It's also going to restore muscle length balance. So maybe you just always feel tightness in one side. Maybe you're dominant in one side. So when we foam roll, that's going to help lengthen it up and even it out with the other side of our body. It's also going to increase blood circulation. And when we increase our blood circulation, we're going to have a faster recovery. The fifth benefit is it's going to break up any scar tissue. And this can also relate to when we're really sore. So let's say you've been exercising, you've been running, you've been doing a ton of movement, and we're feeling super sore. Sometimes that scar tissue can start to build up in the muscles. Well, foam rolling is going to help break that down, help release it. Number 6, it's going to relieve pain, soreness, and stiffness. So you might have heard, or you might have even tried foam rolling, and it's a little painful, a little uncomfortable. I do promise it does get better with time. And number 7, it does, like we talked about earlier, increases flexibility. So why do we want to increase our flexibility? That's going to give us a higher power threshold. So increased flexibility helps us to become stronger and more powerful during our lifts, our running, our movement, whatever that might look like for you. So as you can see, there are so many benefits to foam rolling, no matter who you are or what kind of exercise you do. Now, what kind of tools might we use for some foam rolling? So right here with me, I have a fairly large foam roller. These come in multiple different sizes. And as you can see, this foam roller is mainly made of foam, a dense foam, but it's fairly soft. You might also see different foam rollers on the market that are very hard material, or they might even have some spikes on them. That's going to be a more aggressive type of foam roller. You also might have a foam roller that is half this size. That's going to be great if you just want to foam roll one muscle group at a time or target a smaller area. Now, another way of rolling out a certain part of your body, maybe it's hard to get to it with a large foam roller, is a lacrosse ball. So not exactly a foam roller, but it does a very similar thing, very similar concept, and it just targets a smaller area in the body. So there's multiple different ways that we can use foam rollers to help improve our exercise performance. So I'm going to demonstrate and break down for you guys how to foam roll and how to work certain body parts with a large foam roller. So if you have one of these, you're more than welcome to go through this with me. If you don't have a foam roller, you are more than welcome to just watch and see how this works. And once again, this can get a little uncomfortable. So if you're new to foam rolling, just take your time, take it slow, and it'll get better as time goes on. So we're going to go on the ground here. And typically when I foam roll, what I like to do is I like to work from the bottom up. And you can do this in your warm-up or in your cool down or both, or maybe you just want to break at your desk and you want to warm up those muscles a little bit. So whatever works for you. Now when we foam roll, we are mainly using our body weight, and the pressure from our body weight is what is loosening up the myofascia. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the calves. And when I start with the calves, I'm going to roll from the top of the back of the knee all the way to the ankle. And our goal here is that we don't roll over any joints. Okay, so there's two rules with foam rolling. You never foam roll your low back, and you never foam roll any joints. So some may think this is also a workout all on its own, because what you need to do is you need to place those calves on the foam roller and then lift your body up to create tension on the foam roller. And you're just going to roll back and forth. Just like so. And you might want to do this for 30, 60 seconds. If you're experiencing lots of stiffness, lots of tightness, this is very uncomfortable for you. All right, you can also just take one foot off, go one at a time, and go gently. But if you're just like, I'm not feeling any release of tension, then you can also stack the feet. That's going to add pressure. All right, so you're just going to go over the area about 5 to 6 times, about 30 to 60 seconds a piece. And now you're going to move direction. So I'm going to twist my feet facing out to get the outside of my calf. And you might feel a little awkward when you do this. All right. So we want to get the whole muscle belly, not just one side. We want to get all the sides. And now I'm going to pull those toes in, and I'm going to go inside the calf. Okay, I'm just lifting myself up, back and forth. So some might think, well, this is already a workout on its own, and it will get easier with time, just like anything else. So that's one way that you would foam roll one muscle group. Remember, we want to get the full muscle belly. We want to get the outside, the middle, and the inside on both legs. And we can change our pressure depending if we stack the legs or go one at a time. So, and we would do the same thing with our hamstrings, for example. We would bring the hamstrings up, kind of come into that seated position on the foam roller, and you would come back and forth. And then once you find a really stiff spot, you might go over it just a little bit, back and forth over that area. Good. So if you're following along with me, just go about 2 or 3 more times right here. Remember, you're just lifting yourself up. If you want to go a little bit extra, bring up that intensity, stack the legs. And you're going from the top of the muscle all the way to the bottom without rolling over the joint. And then switch. Same thing. Good, very nice. Okay, so now we've hit the back of the legs. Now let's go ahead for demonstration purposes and for learning purposes, go to the side. So I'm going to go onto the right side, the right IT band. Because for some, this position can get a little bit uncomfortable, a little awkward. So let's break this down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sit on my foam roller, just like so. And then I'm going to place one hand behind me and the other on the floor. So I have two hands on the floor to give me some extra support. Then I'm going to bring the leg that I don't want to roll out in front. And this foot is going to create a lot of pressure and give me some support right here. And I'm going to go to my side. Once I go to my side, once again, I'm going to roll back and forth along the side. Now this gets a lot of people. We have a hard time stretching out and releasing that IT band. So if you're a runner, if you've been exercising a lot, this is most likely is going to be a little painful here. So just take your time, and when you find a really stiff area, just go over it for about 10 seconds, and then go back to the full length. Good, so as you can see, I'm pushing with my front heel back and forth to create some leverage. My hands are supporting me, and I'm able to easily just roll across the foam roller. All right, so you would want to do this on the right side and the left side. Once again, this is typically a very hard spot for a lot of people, so just take your time, and once again, it does get easier with time. All right, so we have hit the calves, we've done the hamstrings, and the IT band. Now let's go ahead and flip it over onto the quads. So for the quads, you want to go facing the ground now. So you're going to hover over that foam roller. You might want to get in like a plank-like position, just like so. Let the feet float. And now at the arms, you're just going to rock back and forth just a little bit. Just slowly ease yourself. Remember right here, it's super important that we don't roll over the knees. Very nice. Let's go one more if you're following along, and then break. Walk those hands up. Awesome. So now we have hit the quads, the hamstrings, the IT band, and the calves. Now we're going to do an example on the upper body. Now the upper body, we can do the full upper body, so don't be fooled. It can be a little awkward, but we're going to go ahead and hit the upper back. And there's multiple different ways to do the upper back, but I'm just going to demonstrate one way and the most popular way. So we're going to sit down. We're going to bring the foam roller right behind the back right here. And remember, we don't want to roll the low back. So I'm going to keep this up towards my shoulder blades, and I'm just going to lay back. So as you can see, this foam roller is about mid-back. I'm leaning into it. Hands are going to cross at the top, and I'm going to push through the heels up on the foam roller, and I'm going to use my feet to push and pull the foam roller across my back. Good, your back might pop here a little bit. Good, let's go two more if you're following along. Good, and then slowly sit back up. And that is how you roll the low back. All right, so we have now learned how to use a foam roller for recovery, for your warm-up, get those muscles nice and warm, get nice and loose. You might already see a difference in how you feel by just doing that little bit. And the foam rolling classes are going to start this Friday. Okay, and they're going to go every single Friday this month. So you're going to learn different muscle groups to target, different ways to use the foam roller, different mobility exercises with them. You might also learn how to use the lacrosse ball to target small things, but this was just a first step into foam rolling for those that are interested. So thank you so much for joining me for the foam rolling workshop. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can always email me at hope.kramer@coxinc.com. I would love to help you with any of your questions. Thank you so much, and we will see you Friday for the first foam rolling class. Have a good one.